and go. All right, and we're back to another episode. This one will be uploading right away. Actually, this will be actually our first MLB episode. We did one a long time ago, but since the NBA video I was editing at the time took like 3 weeks to edit, by the time that MLB episode would have gone out, it would have been way out of date. So it really did not matter what I did with that. But today we will be going over all the standings for the MLB, and if we have time afterward, it's pouring again. But if we have time afterward, after we get through all the standings of the teams, maybe we'll go over the All-Star game crud, but I doubt we will. And as I said in the NBA video, which you'll see at some point, it'll probably be out tomorrow. But as I have said in the NBA video, we're going to be at a church conference for pretty much the entire weekend starting Thursday. So we will not be active any of those days. We will be at the conference. So don't expect any videos really during that time or even us to record anything because it won't be happening. Sorry to crush your guys' hopes and dreams. Anyways, getting into the standings for the teams here, we start with the American League East. Now, you just saw me pull up the standings right above you. You can just read it right from there. I just cropped it out to a specific space so you can see from ESPN. But for the AL East, the leading team is the Boston Red Sox at 54-32. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games, which is very impressive. But overall, the Boston Red Sox have very much surprised me. I did not expect this team to be a great team. I figured maybe they'd be down in the bottom, kind of like last year, where they did not do very well. But this year, they're having an incredible year. JD Martinez has been very good for them. And I mean, they don't even have Chris Sale on the team yet. He's still hurt. I mean, he's close to coming back, but the Red Sox are 54-32 without Chris Sale. That says something, but obviously way above expectations for the Boston Red Sox. Anything to add here, Sam?
Danny Martinez got really hot. Bogarts, Devers, all of those guys got hot at the right time. After these past 10 games, they are 9-1. They won 9 of their last 10 games. They have just been on a hot streak during the month of June and July. They've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excuse me, they've won 10 of their last 11 games. It's been crazy seeing where they swept New York, they swept Kansas City, took 2 out of 3 in Oakland, and they're going on right now. They beat the Angels yesterday, and they are beating the Angels right now, I believe. I don't know what they're doing right now. They're losing to the Angels 3-1. But
top of the fourth.
Take away from my point that they're still a really hot team right now, taking charge in the AL East, throwing the Yankees in the 4th place right now, them and the Blue Jays. But Yankees are looking like they're in some trouble. They're 10.5 behind the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Yankees are by far the biggest disappointment of 2021. And then you look at the flip side, Boston Red Sox are one of the biggest surprises of 2021. I say one of the biggest surprises because there's one at the tail end that is probably by far the biggest. But we go to the Tampa Bay Rays at 49-36, the defending American League champions. They've been solid overall, not a bad season. 5-5 in their last 10, 1-2 straight. I mean, they're having a solid year. They're currently in the wild card. I believe they're the number 1 team, if I'm correct. But Tampa Bay, all right. But Tampa Bay Rays 49-36, all right record. Obviously, they also called up their number one prospect in all of baseball, Wander Franco, who I currently have in fantasy baseball right now, and he's doing a-okay for me, so not too bad. But he's been pretty good for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's certainly showing that he is a number one prospect. I mean, he's been on and off, but when you get to the MLB and you're on and off, it's not always the greatest transition. Well, most of the time, it's not the greatest transition, but he definitely looks like he could be a good player. And this is definitely a good look for the Tampa Bay Rays. I would expect this team to be a playoff team in the wild card, or I mean, I would say win the East, but with the Red Sox going bananas, I don't know if that's possible. But definitely a playoff team. Any thoughts here, Sam?
Nope. Rays just continuing their search on the short season last year. They made it to the World Series. Ended up losing to the Dodgers in 6, I believe. But solid team. They'll give the Red Sox a run for their money if they can catch up to the Red Sox. They're 4.5 behind the Red Sox right now. They're pretty in the wild card. Half Athletics, which is in the second speed, and 4 behind them on the Athletics. So as long as they've been pretty steady all year round, like you said, 5-5 the last solidly above 513 games above 500. But at 36, gonna be a solid playoff team. See if they can, sneak around and try to get to another series.
Very much so. And another team, their team right below there, the Toronto Blue Jays. Obviously, due to issues in Canada, they cannot play at their home stadium. They are playing in Buffalo. That's really beside the point. One thing this team needs. There is one thing and one thing alone that this team needs, and that's pitching. Forget the entire hitting side of the field. It's fine. You don't need any more bats. Get every single pitcher under the freaking kitchen sink. They need anything they can get at the pitching area. I mean, their entire bullpen, their entire bullpen's just a massive joke. Guys are hurt everywhere. I mean, they got Kirby Yates, but he got hurt. Now it's like this. Now it's Jordan Romano trying to fill in the role, who's been on and off. They had like another guy I think called like Julian. I think it was Julian Mayweather or something like that come in, and he got hurt. So their bullpen's been a mess. Their starting pitching's been very messy too. So Blue Jays have massive pitching problems, but their hitting is loaded. Bo Bichette's very good. George Springer's come back and has been okay. But they definitely Blue Jays are a loaded hitting team, but they just need the pitching to line up for them. I mean, they're currently right now 43-40, which is an okay record. I wouldn't say they're a disappointment or a surprise. I mean, everyone knew they had no pitching, and it's showing this season. So, I mean, once again, just like the Tampa Bay Rays, they're 5-5 in their last 10. They have lost their last 2, but Toronto, as long as they can get, I think this team definitely can get somewhere if they get some pitching. But if they don't, they're not. They're gonna be in the same spot they've always been. I think as we're actually approaching the trade deadline, you look at a team like the Minnesota Twins, who we'll get to later. But the Minnesota Twins, they have really struggled this year. They're one of the major disappointments this season, but they have one pitcher that the Blue Jays could possibly target and get themselves another ace, and that's Jose Barrios. Barrios is having a very good season this year. He's been very good, and he'd be a perfect target, I think, for the Toronto Blue Jays. But we're not talking about trade deadline stuff. This is solely just record. So over to you, Sam.
Yeah. You look at
Oh, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Wow, how did I forget about
how
that?
did you forget him? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. His batting average 336, 28 home runs, 71 RBI, OBP, which is on base percentage. 436, and already eclipsed 100 hits, 101 hits. And we're not even halfway through the season yet. We still got a week until the All-Star break. So you still got some more damage to do. You got, like you were saying, you got plenty of hitting power. You got one of the best players in the league on your team. You don't have the problem hitting. You have the problem. They got great power. They have great defense. And Marcus Semien is at shortstop. And they did, what else did they have? I don't know. I just remember Marcus Semien because he was on the A's. And this. But you have Vladimir Guerrero. You have the hitting that you need. You have production from everyone else. You just need to get the pitching done. And Blue Jays, I think for me they were surprised. Quite frankly, I didn't see them getting above 500 all year long. But then Vladimir Guerrero showed up and showed out. But I think they're surpassing my expectations that I had for them.
Yeah, so currently it's actually a little bit of some lightning and thunder outside. So if you see like flashes behind me or something like that, that's why. And my dad just walked in, so if you saw him, that's what happened. Anyways, so apparently my mom's earbuds are in here or something. Anyways, moving on. One of probably the biggest disappointment of the 2021 MLB season has been the New York Yankees at 42-41. I cannot understand how this team is barely above 500. You look at the insane amount of talent on this Yankee team, and it just mind boggles me. Like, how are they here? How are they not on the top of the division? Now, of course, the Red Sox have been very hot, but you would think the Yankees would be right there with them. I mean, Boston's been having a very, very good season. You would think the Yankees would be right there where everyone expected them to be, right there with the Red Sox, basically battling for the number one spot. But instead, here they are at the bottom of the division. I mean, the Orioles, obviously, if you look there, are way worse. But I mean, for the Yankees, this is a major league downgrade from what was going on from what they had before. And I mean, they're 10.5 games behind the Boston Red Sox, so it's not looking good for them. I think also a big problem for the Yankees has been the big time decline of Garrett Cole. Obviously, the MLB has been cracking down on the substance abuse, all that, and they're now checking all the pitchers because of the really low batting averages this year. And ever since that point, Garrett Cole has really struggled. Yeah, it's a great note for me, considering that was my top pick in fantasy baseball. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Don't get how I'm still number one with that, but Yankees really have. I don't know what they need to do. I mean, they have Aaron Judge, who's hitting like 18, 19 homers a game. Thank you, Aaron Judge. That really helps me out. But the Yankees, something needs to change. I mean, I guess Thunder agrees with me, but something needs to change. I don't know what it is, but definitely this is not where the Yankees should be. They need to be a lot higher. So whatever the Yankees need to do to get it changed, get it done now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I agree. And the problem is, if you look at the last 10 games, it's not that they're not scoring runs. It's just the other team is scoring more runs than them. They lost to the Angels 11-8. They lost to the Mets 10-5. Like, they're producing on the offensive end. They're not getting help from their pitching staff.
And that's another thing. I actually, sorry to interrupt you, but this just came to mind. Obviously, the Yankees closer, Aroldis Chapman, had a very, very hot start to the year, and now has just fallen off a cliff. I mean, I think his ERA at this point, it used to be at like 0.6 something, and now it's at like 4.71. So, I mean, that's a drastic change from what it was before. But I just wanted to say that. It just came to mind. Keep going.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up. They lost to the Mets 10-5. It was off of Chapman, but the Mets got 6 runs. It started off with Chapman coming into the save. The Yankees are up 5-4. It was a 7-inning game because they had a doubleheader. They had a doubleheader on the 4th of July. That must have been fun. I wonder what it'd be like to play doubleheader on the 4th of July, the most American thing you can do, play baseball and eat hot dogs, have a doubleheader as well. But the Mets scored six runs in the 7th inning, which is pretty much the top of the 9th at that point, to win the game 10-5. It was Pete Alonso, I believe, for the Mets. He hit a home run, and then after he hit a game-tying home run, another Met, I'm not sure who it was, a left fielder fan. That's an article I read. Left fielder fan helped the Mets stun the Yankees 10-5. He just reached over and he got the ball. But anyway, Aroldis Chapman, you're right. He got back. His ERA is 4.71 now. And then if you look at the other Yankees starting pitchers, only Garrett Cole's like the only one that has an ERA under 3. It's 2.91. And Garrett Cole is on decline as well. So when you look at that and you look at the other Yankees pitchers, it's not looking too good for them right now. Even with all the power they have Aaron Judge, they have
Stanton.
Giancarlo Stanton, they have Gio Urshela, they have DJ LeMahieu, they have all these
Torres.
Yeah, they have all the biggest names in baseball, and they can't figure it out. You can only figure out how to be one game above 500. They're scoring runs. They're just allowing too many runs on the other side.
Yeah, and also another thing for the Yankees, I mean, they also have Corey Kluber. Not that he's been anywhere near the same for the past few years, but he had a nice start to the year, and then he got hurt and went on the 60-day IL. It's one of my 50 billion injuries I've had this year. Currently have 3 on the 60-day IL right now. So, fun time. Yeah, I'm really frustrated with my team, but I'm still in first place. I can't understand
Currently,
it.
they're beating the Mariners 4-0.
Well, props to you, New York. But moving on to the bottom feeder of the division by a half a mile, the Baltimore Orioles at 28-57. I don't think we're too surprised by this, but wow, that's a horrifying record right there. But
no, not as horrifying as one other one.
That is true, but I mean, Orioles, not the best look, but I mean, they're obviously not good. I wouldn't expect them to be any good. They don't really have a whole lot of players on their team not named Trey Mancini, and then that's about it. I mean, Mancini survived cancer, so I mean, props to him. He's also on my team. I keep mentioning everyone who's on my team.
Everybody's on your team, apparently.
Well, never mind. But the Orioles, obviously not very good. Not that anyone expected anything from them. That's all I really got to say about Baltimore. Up to you, Sam.
Just a question. Freddie Galvis, was he on the Padres before?
Freddie Galvez. I'm not sure.
Freddie Galvis.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that, but go ahead.
I think he was. I don't know. Well, it just made me think. Manny Machado is on the Padres now, and I believe on the Padres before. So it's kind of like they switch roles at shortstop too.
Yeah, he was with the Padres in 2018.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Just a fun fact that was floating around my mind. Yeah, not too much to say about Baltimore. You're don't have much to build around anyway, so pretty much blow it up. And you're not the Diamondbacks, so you're all right, man.
Yeah, sorry, Stravinsky, but holy cow, that team. Yeah, no. So moving on to the Tigers' very own AL Central. So we're not going to start off with the Tigers. We're just going to start off with the top team, which is the Chicago White Sox. Pretty much every single team in this division, I do not like at all. I don't like any of these teams. So we start with the White Sox, who were expected to have a very good season, and they got off to a very slow start, and they really picked it up afterward. And now here they are, 6 games ahead of the Indians. They're supposed to be here a long time ago. Now they are. I mean, they're a solid overall team. I think the White Sox definitely will. I think they can make a run in the playoffs. They got the talent for it. They got the pitching. They got the hitting. I think they're a well balanced team. I don't think they'll win any championship, but they definitely are a well balanced team that can get somewhere, make a run.
Mm-hmm. The White Sox have Giolito, I believe, is the pitcher that just faced against the Tigers.
Lucas Giolito, yep.
Lucas Giolito. You look at their batters: Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, and Moncada. All good, solid players that have been around the White Sox for a long time. At least each one of those players I've known have been on the White Sox for at least 5 years each, I believe. So they know the system. They know they're part of what the rebuild of Chicago was, and it's coming to fruition finally. And basically, what we're seeing is the White Sox pick apart an AL Central is just falling at the seams, pretty much. So the Twins are Royals start off hot, but that was for like the first 10 games, and then they just cooled off completely. The Tigers are surprisingly all right.
Yeah, that's something we got to talk about, but not right now.
Yeah, and then the Indians are falling off the cliff the last 10 games.
Yeah.
So the White Sox are taking advantage where they are right now, 6 games ahead in the AL Central. So it looks pretty clear, and it looks like the White Sox are going to win, especially if the Indians keep falling off the cliff like they are right now. But it looks like the AL Central is in pretty solid hands. The White Sox is they're up right now, 4-1 with the Indians in the bottom of the ninth, and they will probably get their 50th win tonight.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that the two screens are overlapping each other, so that's why you saw the screen kind of like black out on the left for a little bit. Apologize for that. But yeah, White Sox definitely looking pretty good overall. But speaking of the Cleveland Indians, they are next at 42-40, losing their last 7 games and 1-9 in their last 10. So not the best look for Cleveland, but this team it is yikes, it coming down again. But the Indians, this team is more. They're very good in the pitching department, and then other than that, it's not the greatest look. The Indians have really been selling away their entire team. I think they're slowly looking to begin probably what will be a rebuild. I mean, they're not there yet. They still got some decent players around, like Jose Ramirez, but the Indians definitely have some talent. So, I mean, 42-40. I expect them to be maybe a fringe playoff team, and that's pretty much where they're at now. I mean, they've struggled lately, which has killed them recently. But the Indians, if they could get more hitting, maybe they go somewhere. But I don't see them going anywhere, and they won't be the Indians very long. Don't know what they'll be afterward, but thankfully they're not the Cleveland baseball team.
I hear they might be called the Indian Naps, which means what? They're gonna. Wait, did I say the Indian Naps?
Yeah, why'd you say the Indian?
Not what I meant.
I think I think the name they have for the Indians is the Cleveland Spiders. I believe that's what they have now, but that's just that's a horrifying name. So I would not. Please, thank you.
Yeah, go play basketball with the Richmond Spiders.
Yeah, I mean,
Associate that with. Cleveland. Oh, Cleveland. Where did I be at? They signed Wilson Ramos today. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if they really needed a catcher, but they assigned him to AAA Columbus. So he will probably make his way up the roster. And Tigers beat him in a doubleheader. Tigers usually don't beat the Indians, so when you see the Tigers are beating the Indians with like regular consistency, you know something's going on in Cleveland that shouldn't be going on. They got swept by the Astros. They lost their first game to the Rays. They don't play until tomorrow. Today was postponed because of rain. But really interesting to see the downfall of Cleveland happening before our eyes after that trip to the World Series back in 2016. I believe that's the only year they've been to the World Series recently. Oh, now it's down over here.
Now it started over there. But the Indians, their game against the Rays was canceled due to the hurricane going through Florida right now. So that was that. But moving on to the next team, it is our very own Detroit Tigers. We love them. We're Tiger fans. We love them. But we know that the Tigers need one thing and one thing alone, and that is hitting. Exact opposite of the Blue Jays. They don't need pitching. We have like 30 billion pitching prospects and 30 billion other people that are currently hurt right now that still need to come back. But we have gobs of pitching from Spencer Turnbull to Matthew Boyd. No one cares about Julio Teheran, but he's on the team. And then you got Matt Manning, top prospect. You got Skubal, Casey Mize, one number one pick. I mean, honestly, there's your future pitching rotation for the Tigers right there. I mean, if you look at it from that standpoint, you mean you could have Boyd, Turnbull, Mize, Skubal, Manning. That could be your future five-man rotation, which obviously is a very good five-man rotation. And then the bullpen isn't the greatest in the world, but you have Gregory Soto in there, who for some reason is our all-star. I will never understand that. And Michael Fulmer, who has now been put in as the closer. Yeah, the guy who lost his closing job is the man who was representing the Tigers as their all-star rep. Explain that to me. You really couldn't put put in, like, I don't know, Jonathan Scope, who's been absolutely on a tear recently, or even for the heck of it, just Akil Baddoo. I mean, come on, anything's better than Gregory Soto, but Soto's our all-star, so congratulations to Mr. Soto. But the Tigers, I mean, Akil Baddoo has been a really nice surprise for Detroit. I am so happy to see Akil Baddoo doing so well. He had a really bad period where he was striking out like 70% of the time and literally couldn't hit anything. But here he is now. He's turning into a really, really good leadoff hitter. He's batting about 277, I think, about right now. So I really love this kid, this guy. He's doing really well. He's playing very well. He's only 22 years old, too. And he's a great center fielder, so I am really happy to see Akil Baddoo, especially also, that is an awesome name, Akil Baddoo. But I am so happy to see this guy doing so well for Detroit, as we need bats, especially with Miggy falling off a cliff, the Nomar Mazzara experiment completely flopping, and there's no one else really hitting for our team very well besides like Scope and Castro maybe. But this team's always needed hitting. It'll be fun to see when Spencer Torkelson comes up. So we'll see what happens, but Tigers are looking pretty solid right now and definitely are above expectations at 39 and 46. But over to you, Sam.
Yes, actually, I think it's 39 because they just lost today.
Oh, yeah. So this is probably not.
Probably not updated yet. But,
Yeah. Give me a second while I refresh this. There we go.
Yes, sir. 7 innings yesterday with only 3 hits and 6 Ks. So maybe even throw him in there as a good relief pitcher, obviously. But he did really well starting yesterday. That was the Rangers, but still, it's an MLB team. And he can shut down an MLB team and only give him 3 hits. It's still pretty good. Also for the Tigers, whenever I'm seeing good things out of Zach Short too. He's recently been, I think he's recently called up, and he's been on the team only for a couple weeks, but I've seen good things out of him. I've seen a little bit of power. I've seen a little bit of good defense too at shortstop. So he's been good. Robbie Grossman, I didn't realize we had Robbie Grossman from the Athletics. I do remember him, but he's been a nice addition. Even Haas has been pretty good too when he gets hot. But you're right. It's definitely a different Tigers. I've seen this team. I've been paying attention to Tigers baseball probably since they got to the World Series back in 2012, and this team has changed so much since then.
Yeah, they have. Oh yeah.
It used to be Cabrera and Fielder,
Vmar.
Peralta, and all these big, beefy guys have a bunch of power and a little bit of good contact too. But you remember those days, the good old days.
Oh yeah.
Back in the World Series, 2012 wasn't a good World Series, but leading up to that, you always remember beating up the Yankees in a couple of series. Those are fun times.
I remember, just a side note, quick little story. I know this is going probably way longer than we expected to, but quick little story about 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 the Tigers. Actually, it was when my high school had won states for baseball for Division 4, and so to celebrate, we all went to a Tigers game. We got like a little press box, so we had like a bunch of food in front for us all. I think we were playing like the Royals or something, and it became a blowout in like the first 4 innings, and the entire team left. And me and my dad were like, "Well, we'll just hang around. We'll have this entire place to ourselves." So we had literally 5 innings of just an entire press box full of food and all kinds of different stuff for free. We just had the entire place for ourselves. Of course, we lost to the Royals, but we still had the place to ourselves. It was a really fun time, honestly, just eating all the hot dogs and different whatever else was in there. I think there was drinks too, but I just remember eating a billion hot dogs. Don't know why that came to mind, but it did. So, go ahead.
I'm not sure how that story relates, but oh god, yeah, this team surpassing expectations once again. I thought they would be towards the bottom of the league. They're actually more towards the middle of the league. They're under 10 games below 500 too, or not? Well, yes, that's true. Under 10 games below 500, and then less than 10 games out of the wild card spot. I don't see them achieving that wild card spot because they got 5 or 6 teams ahead of them, but they're making good strides. I'm seeing good things from the Tigers, and can only hope for better.
That is very true. And moving on to these next 2 teams, they probably won't take very long. Minnesota Twins, one of the bigger disappointments of this season, obviously. We expected to be a playoff team, and currently worse than the Tigers. So obviously something has gone wrong. A lot of their players have. Some players have done really well, and then others have just done really bad. Nelson Cruz has been very good. I mentioned Jose Barrios already. He's been very good. Byron Buxton had a really good start until he got hurt. But then other than that, you look at the rest of the team, not named Josh Donaldson, but he's also 35 and old. So I wouldn't expect him to do too much from this point forward. But Donaldson is still there. He's still a very good player, obviously. But the Twins they have not been good. I mean, most of their. Okay. No, they're a decent team. Shut up. But Yeah, I guess the Thunder's a little irritated with my saying that, but making a lot of lightning and thunder jokes now every time I keep hearing loud thunder. It's funny. But
Good thing the Thunder aren't in the NBA Finals, but the Lightning are in the NHL Stanley Cup Final.
totally. But Twins are definitely not up to expectations. Very disappointing. No one really saw them being this bad. Not really much more I have to say about that. Over to you.
Can we just lump the Royals and the Twins together with the same record? So
Well, I mean, yeah, the Royals are 35 and 49. They're only a half a game behind, but Royals, I mean, they had a really hot start to the year. They were atop the division, really, really doing well, couldn't be better, and then all of a sudden they just, I don't know what happened. I mean, now they're 2-8 in their last 10 games, lost their last two. Their entire team just like disappeared. I mean, Whit Merrifield, Andrew Benintendi really showed up for the Royals, and he got hurt. He's back now, I think. But Benintendi was doing really well. They had a couple of pitchers who were doing something, but all of a sudden, I mean, at one point it was just like boom, and back to being crap. And worse than the Tigers when they were way above the Tigers at one point. So
we expect
obviously
the
they're
Tigers in the beginning of the year.
yeah, obviously the Royals are not where they probably wanted to be after looking like a big surprise team to start off the year. But that's all I gotta say on those two. Over to you, Sam.
Valley, you also see the Royals play Texas, Cleveland, Chicago White Sox, Angels, Blue Jays, Detroit, Pittsburgh. Not really impressive teams too in the beginning too. So that could have been a factor. Just the beginning of the year is crazy sometimes too. Twins disappointing. Really, don't think there's much to mention. Just these bottom of the barrel teams. Wow, it is really coming down over here. Um, these these teams are just I don't know. They're just interesting to and as long as they can be used for the Tigers' success, I will take them. Detroit and Minnesota play 11 times in the next month, so that will be a real test for the Tigers. They have to go there 7 times. They play them at home 4 times, but you'll see a lot of the Twins and the Tigers this month if you pay attention to the Tigers baseball.
Yeah, dang, I can really actually hear it coming down over there through the camera. But yeah, definitely something to look at there. But now we go to the AL West. I figured we'd be way farther in this already, but we are not. So moving on to the AL West, we go to the top team in the AL West, which is the Houston Astros, which were for a long time actually sitting behind the Oakland Athletics, but as of lately got really hot and took over the spot and jumped ahead of Oakland. I'm sure that doesn't make Sam happy. He's an athletic guy, but Astros really have been pretty solid lately. Jose Altuve has come back to life after a disappointing year last year. I took a gamble on that in fantasy. Really worked out. But Astros definitely. Sam, I think, is getting tired of all my fantasy baseball references, but
You got one for every team.
pretty much. But Astros really have been very good this year, and so very solid overall, very impressive. Won their last four, so definitely trending in the right direction. Over to you.
Yep, I see this Houston Astros team breaking out like they did back in 2017. Not really. Anyway, not really destroying everyone, but I think they're slowly, quietly making their way up towards the top of the top tier of baseball again. They surpassed Oakland. They're up by 3.5 games over Oakland. It's not even that close, really. Oakland's been on a little bit of a slide, but the Astros are coming back together. I've seen sparks of that 2017 championship was 2017, right?
Say that again.
It was 2017 that they won, right?
The
That,
Astros? Yeah, I believe
yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah. 2017. Yeah, yeah.
and then they just swept the Indians recently in a 4-game sweep. So, and they're actually playing the Athletics right now. They are up 9-6 in the eighth inning, and they're at home. But oh wow, but they got swept by the Orioles. That's interesting.
Ooh.
I don't know how that happened, and they lost 2 out of 3. No, they lost. They split a series with the Tigers, but they also swept the Orioles a series before that. So that's interesting. But that kind of wipes out what I said before about. I guess I don't watch baseball enough. Apparently, I thought they are doing well. I mean, they're top their division, which is not an easy division. You got Oakland, and then you have the Seattle's interesting. Seattle's 5 games above 500. I did not know that. Um, the Angels are at 500. Texas is something else to discuss. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Houston looking like a good playoff team. I can see them competing with the Red Sox again in the AL Championship.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably a better idea to just go through the entire division all at once. But
I think
um,
so. Also because my phone is at 20%.
you and the phone again. But
Well, we
yeah, well,
have
that's
been on
the.
here for over an hour now. I mean, total. I don't know. NBA episode, and then like 10 minutes after we did MLB episode. So we're just doing 2 episodes at once. So I can't handle it. No, I can't.
Yeah, but yeah. So really, for me, I mean, you look at the Astros. Obviously, doing much better. Oakland has been a big time surprise this year. Did not expect them to be this good, and they have really surprised pretty much everyone. You can see on the right, last 10 games have not been the greatest overall. I mean, 4-6. So definitely leaving a bit to be desired there. Mariners right behind. This is a team that's supposed to be rebuilding, yet here they are 5 games above 500, which is very impressive for this Seattle team. They are definitely above expectations. Uh, Seattle not Mariners. Next one, Angels at 500. They're definitely missing Mike Trout right now. Shohei Ohtani has been a big time surprise for him. Jared Walsh, well, I mean, he's not a surprise, but he's been above probably what most expectations were. He was supposed to be very good. He's been even above very good. One person who has been a big time surprise is Jared Walsh, though. No one saw Jared Walsh being any good, and now here he is. And then you got the Texas Rangers, who are just the Rangers. They suck. They got no one on their team. They're not very good. Yeah, why did we not do this before? That was way faster.
Yeah, it was way faster. I was looking, and each team was taking about 2 to 3 minutes. I was like, there's 32 teams. 32, or is it 30? I think it's 32. Because MLB is
30.
30. Yeah. 30 times 2 to 3, that's at least a program. So I'm like, no, we gotta cut this a little bit shorter. We gotta get to the chase here. But you're right. But one thing I did want to add about the West is Shohei Ohtani. He is one of the most impressive players and one of the most fun players to watch in baseball, I think. Because he can do it, and then he can do it from the bat as well. And that's just such a skill set that's just lost in the MLB nowadays because it was only introduced in the NL pretty much, where pitchers are batters as well. I mean, in fact, no, you make fun of them. Oh man, let's watch the pitcher look silly on this pitch. What the pitcher's thinking, but you actually have to pitch to show he had time because he's shown he will go off. He make 2 home runs in one game against the Tigers, I'm pretty sure, and then he's got 31 homers, I believe. Yeah, 31 homers, leading the MLB in home It's never worked out around them, so they're stuck average. That is literally their motto for the Angels. Average.
Hmm. Yeah, they definitely. I mean, I don't think they're going to compete for anything this year, but if they want to in the future, something like I said, with kind of like the, uh, what was it, the Yankees? I said something needs to change, or someone in the East. Anyways, speaking of East, the NL East, National League East, if you look at this division, it is not pretty. None of these teams have been very good. But the New York Mets are leading the trash can at 44-37. They have absolutely zero hitting capability. James McCann has been a major league disappointment. Lindor, who got traded to him from the Indians, has been major league disappointing. Pretty much their entire hitting corpse has been just very poor. But then you look at the pitching side of things, and they literally have what I'll consider, or not what I'll consider, what is the best pitcher in all of baseball by a half a mile. You cannot tell me that anyone is better than him, and as Jacob DeGrom. You cannot tell me anyone is better than this guy. Look at the stats this guy is putting up. It looks like video game numbers. It shouldn't be real what he's doing. It isn't. It shouldn't be. It's not fair. The guy's like he's throwing like 150 strikeouts and he's got like a 0.7 ERA. What are you supposed to do against that? I don't know. I mean, they also have Noah Syndergaard who never stays healthy, but I mean, that's that. I mean, Syndergaard's a good pitcher, but if you want him, he's gotta stay healthy. He does not though. Carlos Carrasco also is currently out right now. I thought that's like a really big loss for the Mets, but definitely would be nice to have him back and everything. But I mean, the Mets have a loaded pitching staff. I mean, Edwin Diaz, of course, is also their closer, so that's a nice one too. But if this team wants to really, really do something, that their hitting needs to improve, and I'm sure they can find a hitter somewhere. But the next team on there, Washington Nationals, uh, the fact that they're 4 games out of the division lead is very scary because they're not very good, and I have no idea how they are there. But they are 41-42 and 4 games out, so congrats to you, I guess. But next is the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 4.5 games out of the division lead. Again, not a very special team, but like I said, this entire division is like the equivalent of basically the NFC East. They're not very good, but not as bad as the NFC East. The NFC East might be the worst division to ever exist last year, but this division's all been very, very unspecial. But Phillies, not a great team, pretty much where everyone expected them to be. Next one is the Atlanta Braves. They have really been disappointing. Another one of the bigger disappointments of this season. Everyone thought the Braves would be very good after they got to the National League finals against the Dodgers, took a 3-1 lead and then blew the next 3 in typical Atlanta fashion. But the Braves just
Of course. Yeah, bring it up.
yeah, I had to. It was too good an opportunity, but losing the yeah, but lose the next 3. I don't know what has happened to the Atlanta Braves, but they are really not what they should be way better than this. But even with as bad as they've been, still 5 games out of the division lead. So there you go. And in case you're wondering if any of these teams in the National League have a chance at making the wild card, no, they don't. And we'll get to why. But after the Braves, Miami Marlins, they had a hot start, then they kind of cooled down. So Marlins, I mean, they're not great either. They're another rebuilding team. So that's it for me. Over to Sam.
Mm-hmm. In the last 2 games, for 4 of these teams, they have been see the pattern we have here? Average, 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 average. All average teams. Not going to do anything. Whoever wins this in the playoffs by someone from the
Dodgers,
Central or the West.
probably.
Yeah. They're going to get one.
Or no, it wouldn't be the Dodgers. It'd be the Giants because they're the division leader.
Even see, none of these teams are special. The only special thing is what you mentioned earlier, Jacob DeGrom. Let me read you his specific stats. These are absolutely incredible for Jacob DeGrom. I know you said them earlier, or you said them sort of earlier, but
Yeah, I kind of over exaggerated, but
for pitching for Jacob DeGrom, 35 hits total, and he is. So you think about that, 35 divided by 14. That's about 2 hits a game. Guys are getting about 2 hits a game off of them. 9 earned runs. That is not even 1 run per game. 4 home runs total. Some run off them. That's surprising. Only 11 walks. 136 Ks. 136 Ks. And that's 14 Ks per game. That is not. Just don't do that.
And that's with multiple IL stints too.
And a whip of 0.54, which I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that means. Can you explain to us what whip is?
So basically, I don't know what the acronym for it actually is, but essentially it's how many.
I can say the acronym first, and then you can go. The acronym is walks plus hits per innings pitch.
Oh, well, I mean, honestly, basically all it means is how many people you put on base per inning.
Okay. How many people you put on base?
So he's putting basically half a person on base every inning.
Half a person on base, right? Okay, nice.
Just the legs, no head or anything.
My gosh. Yes. All the other pitchers have over 1. And he's at 0.54. ERA below 1. 0.95. That is, oh man. Not even giving up a run per game. I can see he's 7-2 as a starting pitcher, which seems kind of off, but you factor in blown saves or blown leads, which I'm sure is a commonality, seeing how they've lost 41 games. But if they could have a Jacob DeGrom pitch for them every game, I'm sure they would be one of the best teams in the MLB. But that is not the case. You do not have multiple Jacob DeGroms. Therefore, you're leading the average NL East. If you can say that they're average even. But the sort of semi-average NL East. And the rest of these teams, I know the Phillies, they had actually come off a good series against the Padres where they had won a couple of games. They took that series against the Padres, which is always good to take a series from a team that's ahead of you. And then right now, they are beating the Cubs in a shootout. They're winning 15-9 over the Cubs, the Phillies are right now, which that is such a high-scoring game, top of the 9th.
Holy cow.
I know. I'm going to have to watch those highlights later. Anyway, nothing special. I think the Mets will win the East just because they have too much. And they are better than the Yankees. They are the better New York team right now.
Yeah, and you also look at the home discrepancy here. I'll just highlight it. Probably you already see it, but home discrepancy. I mean, they're 25-11 at home, and then you go on the road and they're 19-26. 26, sorry. But I mean, that's a pretty big change. You'll see a much bigger change later in this video, but that's definitely something to look at. We go to the Central. We only got one division left.
Also, sorry, one last thing to say. Extremely odd stat. The Miami Marlins are below 500, and usually when you're losing team, you have a negative run differential, right? Their run differential is plus 21. They have the best run differential in the NL East. How? You just win in blowouts and then lose close games, I guess? Is that what's happening here? I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, they have.
it's definitely different for sure. Did not really notice that earlier, but we go back to the NL Central and we look at the Brewers, who are atop of this division. This was expected. The Brewers are a dangerous team. They're at 51-35. Not really a surprise. This is exactly where they should be, and they have been dangerous this year. Their starting pitching is very good. Their hitting is very dangerous. Not really a whole lot I got to say about the Brewers. They had a little bit of a slower start, but they really picked up the pace lately. You also look at the next team, which took over after the collapse of another team, but this is but number two is the Cincinnati Reds. Um, they have a couple guys who just out of nowhere all of a sudden putting up like outstanding numbers. One of them is a former Tiger, and Nicholas Castellanos, who my family does not care for. We all think he's bad, but I mean, Castellanos really has been very good for the Reds. Jesse Winker's been taking off for the Reds. I had Tyler Naquin for a while, and then he fell off a cliff. So that experiment for him did not turn out well. But Reds, I mean, they're a okay team. I don't expect them to go anywhere. But the big time surprise has been the complete collapse of the Chicago Cubs. It says that on their last 10. I don't know if their losing streak goes past it, but the Chicago Cubs are on a 10-game losing streak. They have completely fallen off a cliff and just have been horrible lately. And they're now 42-43. They were atop the division for a while, and now all of a sudden here they are, 8.5 games behind the Brewers, and nowhere near position for the wild card, which is shocking for a Cubs team that is normally pretty good, and they have not been that this year. Moving on to the next team, the St. Louis Cardinals. This is their hitting is pretty solid, and then their pitching looks like a high school staff, literally walking every single person that they see in front of their face. But Cardinals overall, I mean, they need pitching. They need someone who doesn't walk 30 people a game. I mean, you look at some of the pitchers on their team. I mean, they constantly are walking people. It's not good. Uh, Something needs to change there. And then you look at the bottom team. No one really is surprised. Pittsburgh Pirates are 32-53. Like I said, not really a surprise. They really suck. Their run differential is actually minus 105. So they are getting blown out by people. Pirates are not good. Everyone knew that. Over to you, Sam.
Oh, they're their 11th straight unless they can pull off a 7-run rally here in
Oh,
the bottom of
jeez.
the ninth to the Phillies in that high-scoring affair. Oh man, I don't know what happened to the Cubs. Their last win is against the Dodgers. They won 4-0 against the Dodgers. Ever since then, lost 3 to the Dodgers, lost 3 to the Brewers, lost 3 to the Reds. They lost to the Phillies yesterday by 10. I mean, it's not like they're losing close games either. They're losing 15-7, 14-4, both against the Brewers, 7-1, 13-3. So not like these are close games either. Something just snapped in that clubhouse. And maybe players yelling. I don't know what it is. It's just something's got to change in Chicago. Otherwise, they are heading towards the bottom real fast. I like what Cincinnati's been doing. They're just slowly climbing their way back the division after that slow start. They have Castellanos, which, as much as I know your family doesn't like him, he's still player, and he'll give you some good value even if he doesn't have that much defense. Who else? Winker, you said earlier, been really solid for them. They have solid home run numbers. 5 of their players have more than 10 home runs. Votto has 11. Nathan has 13. Suarez has 17. Castellanos has 17. Laker has 19. And we have several guys with 10 home runs. You're probably going to have a winning record. It's just a fact. It's a fact of the matter. So what the Reds have been doing, they're going to try and fight for a playoff spot. They're only they're 6 games. 6 games from a wild card spot. 6 games from the Central League Division. So they can see them making some noise if they continue with the hitting power they have. And then Pittsburgh, oh my gosh, minus 105. That's it's only better than a couple teams. The Orioles and the Diamondbacks. We will get to the Diamondbacks eventually. I'm sure Serbinsky will be very happy when we go to the Diamondbacks. But,
Oh, yeah. Why don't we just do that now?
Yes. Let's go to the West. Let's end this thing in the NL West.
Yeah.
Best division by far.
Yeah, by far. But I had not realized this is actually going way faster. So I don't know what I was thinking. I should have just done this in the beginning, but this is taking way longer than it was supposed to. Anyway, not really much I can do about that now. But last division, we have the National League West. The top 3 in this division are unbelievable. And then the bottom 2 really suck. So we'll talk about the top team, the San Francisco Giants, which I was talking about the Red Sox earlier being a big-time surprise. I said there was someone that was bigger. Well, here they are. The San Francisco Giants at 53-31. I have no idea where this came from. This team's a bunch of 30-year-old dudes who have been in the league for a while and a bunch of average people. And now all of a sudden they're 53-31, better than the Dodgers. Doesn't make any sense to me, but there they are. You've seen it for yourself. They've been 5-5 in their last 10 games. They lost their last one, so I mean they're hanging. It's not like they're declining or anything. They're pretty much hanging around right where they were. So they've been solid overall. And you have the Dodgers, who have been up and down, a lot of injuries on their team, but obviously, probably I would say the best team in all baseball. They are 53-32 currently right now, half a game behind the Giants. I don't know if this is if this is refreshed or at all. I'll refresh it again in case we are missing something, but there's. Oh, well, so Dodgers obviously are a very, very good team. Won their last 9, just lost their last one. So they're 9-1. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games. So they have been very good, and they're obviously very good, and I think have a very good chance at winning the World Series, as well as the next team behind them, which is the San Diego Padres. This team is loaded as well, just like the Dodgers. Dodgers have a lot of good hitters. They also got a lot of good. They got a big time 3 at pitching, and Trevor Bauer's got issues off the baseball field right now.
Like most people.
Yeah, like most people. Yeah, but I mean, we're not here to talk about that. We'll see what actually comes of that. But right now, he's on administrative leave and all that. But for the Padres. They would have Mike Clevinger, but of course, he is hurt. But Joe Musgrove has really showed up for the Padres and has basically showed himself as the big third to replace Clevinger for the time being. So it's really, really good to see him up in there. And the Padres are a very dangerous team as well. I expect them to make a lot of noise in the MLB playoffs. And then we go to these bottom 2 teams. Colorado Rockies at 37-48. Now, this home away discrepancy is ridiculous. So, at home, the Colorado Rockies are 31-17. So, their road discrepancy, so on the road, they are 6-31. They have won only 6 games away from Coors Field. That's pathetic. That is really pathetic. And I mean, it really comes down to the fact that the Rockies have a very gimmicky feel because of I think it's like the air or the elevation or whatever the heck it is, but it makes the ball carry more. That's all I know. And it makes it easier to hit home runs and it makes it nightmares for pitchers. So no one likes playing there. Don't know why they put the All Star game there either. But they did, and so it'll be fun for a home run derby, though.
That's what I said. The home run derby is going to be a lot more exciting.
Oh yeah, I mean we saw Vladimir Guerrero in 2019 hit 30 homers. Get ready for 40 probably by somebody else.
No talent, especially Coors Field.
But
It is the elevation. I just want to add, it is the elevation. The air ball can travel further, so that's why the ball carries more at Coors Field and in Denver in general in football and football and baseball because that's where they're outside. So yes, that's why the ball carries further. It's a quick science lesson.
right. And last team and last in the entire MLB is the Arizona Diamondbacks at 23-63. Dear Lord, that is awful.
They have a better road record than the Rockies.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, as bad as they are actually better than the Colorado Rockies on the road. Congratulations, Arizona. But no, they suck. They are terrible. They don't even have like a trade piece to trade away for the deadline. That's how bad they are. But I mean, 40 games below 500. That's beyond miserable. But I don't know what to say about the Diamondbacks except just keep losing so you can get the number one pick. I don't know. So there's no hope for you anymore.
I think that's a good piece of advice. And they also lost, I think it was 24 straight games on the road.
Yeah, they had lost 24, I think, period, actually. 24 games in a row or something like that. Or 20 in a row. I don't know what it was, but they've out
24 on the road and then against the Padres and won one game on the road against the Padres. And then they just continued to lose after that.
Yeah, but that's all I got. Over to you, Sam.
Yes, the Giants. I love the Giants because they play old school ball. I mean, they have older players. They have the Brandon Crawfords. They have Buster Posey, who's in another All Star game, and Brandon Crawford, who's in another All Star game. They have who else do they have? They have Brandon Belt. He comes in. They don't have Joe Panic anymore. He moved on. On those older veteran guys, they have Dawson, the ace pitcher. He's also in the All Star game. They have a bunch of key guys. They play old school ball. They play. We're not necessarily gonna hit a lot of runs, but we'll beat you around the base paths, and we'll beat you with good pitching. And that's what the Giants do. They play old school baseball, and I think that's really just taken the other teams in the West, the Dodgers and the Padres, a bit by surprise. They're not playing with the new style of the MLB, where hit as many home runs as possible and win. Pretty much is what I've been seeing. Um, that or and then pitching just strike out. But what they want to do is get good solid ground balls, good fly balls, easy outs for the outfielders. They don't put up all the big strikeout totals, that Jacob DeGrom puts up, or Darvish for the Dodgers, or
You mean Padres. Darvish is a Padre, not a Dodger.
that's what I meant. Thank you for the correction. I was trying to think Clayton Kershaw. My bad.
Yeah. I like that one. I like that one.
But because I really like the Giants old school. I like when people do things old school baseball, old school basketball, old school everything. I think the way you start is the way you should finish, and the way that these teams will come back to when they come back to their senses eventually, when they realize that there's so many more strikeouts in the league. And I believe, listen, that last video that we talked about why there were so many no hitters, but but then we never uploaded a video, so that never happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't get into that because it's getting pretty late. Giants, obviously the surprise team. Dodgers and the Padres and Giants. That's gonna be so fun just to watch it all battle out for that first place position. You're watching the three teams. Who's gonna get that spot? It would appear that all those teams are gonna make the playoffs without a doubt.
And which two teams are going to play each other for the one game in the wild card?
Exactly. To think about to watch. Even see Tatis Jr. for the Padres the other day hit a 116-mile-per-hour ball and went out of the park. How do you hit a ball that hard? You got to get a lot of practice, a lot of work, a lot of effort. I don't know. It's a lot of everything. But a lot of star power on the Dodgers and on the Padres. So that's always fun to watch. And you watch that going to battle against old school ball, the old school players, the Brandon Crawfords, the Buster Posies, the people you feel like, man, they've been around forever, haven't they? But it's only been a decade or so. They won. Giants won in 2010. They won the World Series. They won in 2012. They won in 2014. I think the Giants are due for another World Series trip, but we'll have to see later down the road. I really do like the Giants in this division, though. I think they will come out on top.
All right, and that will be it for us. That took way longer than I thought it would. I did not really think over how long it would actually take to go through every team, but we have. I guess we weathered the storm in a way, I guess. But oh yeah, totally intended. But I mean, well done. I mean, a lot of surprise teams, a lot of teams that really didn't see coming. But overall, it's been a very fun MLB season. When the next episode
will halfway point, I think, right?
Yeah, it is actually right at the halfway point. So this is basically right in the middle, and All-Star Game is coming up. So maybe early next week we'll do a MLB All-Star video. I don't know if we will. Because by the time we actually get around to doing that, the All Star weekend will already be underway. So it might be too late at that point, but we may or may not do an All Star video. Since the NBA Finals are already going, by the way, side note, if you're watching the NBA video, Suns ended up winning Game 1. Congratulations to Phoenix. Well done. But I wouldn't expect an NBA video until the NBA Finals are over, and then we'll just kind of go over what happened in the NBA Finals. If there's other news, we'll talk about that. But next video you'll see uploaded after this MLB one and the NBA episode coming up will actually be an NFL video on the NFC South and AFC South. So you'll get to hear about the Julio. I did not tell Sam this, so he's hearing this for the first time himself too. I apologize for that. But the Julio Jones trade will be covered in that, of course, along with the Teddy Bridgewater one. But we're not really going to talk about all that right now. It'll take way too long. It's gone for like an hour, 15 minutes. I did not think it would take that long. I sincerely apologize. But we only took 20 minutes to do the NBA one, so that's props to us. That'll be but that'll be it for us. We need to take off, head to bed. This MLB video, I probably won't be able to get it out tonight. It's actually too late, so I'll be getting it out tomorrow while I'm editing the NBA one. Hopefully, both of them upload before I have to go to work. But anyways, that'll be it for us. We'll see you next time. We'll see you next week for an NFL episode. That's it for us. Adios, everybody.